Hey everybody, how's it going? Today we're going to talk about how to create more engagement, influence, and conversations. So what we're going to talk about today is by developing this one skill that you will be able to actually be able to boost your engagement and influence and be able to create more conversations in your business. And you already know that having more conversations is what's going to help you boost your business. So my name is Levi Hunsaker, and I am joining you here to give you some tips on organic growth on your social media. It's a great way to build your business organically without spending any money and things like that. So we really want to dive in and talk about this today. So let me know where you guys are joining from and connecting with us. And if you are coming back to us on the replay, put hashtag replay in the comments, and we'd love to come back and connect with you. So today, what we're going to focus on is we're going to talk about how this one thing, creating headlines and an engaging start of your content. Now, the first thing is, well, where can this skill work? So go ahead, drop your ideas in below. Let's see what ideas you have. So put them in the comments below. We want to just check what ideas. I've got them, and I've got my notes in front of me so that I make sure I don't forget some of the things that I've thought of, but maybe you've thought of some different ones. And I kind of want to hear what ideas that you've come up with for where you see headlines, where you see the initial content that engages you into somebody's content. What draws you in? So go ahead, drop those in the comments below. We'll come back and check in on that. Now, for me, some of the things that I've thought of is, well, obviously advertising. That's somewhere that you see that, and advertising could be like billboards, radio, TV commercials. You see it all over in the internet. You see it in Facebook, in YouTube, in Google. You see it in Instagram, even in Twitter, right? But have you thought about what is content? Ask yourself that question. What is content? Have you thought about a haircut being content? Have you thought about the vehicle you drive, and not just the vehicle you drive, but how it is kept and maintained? Can that be content? What does it say about you? What does it say about your brand, right? The images you post online, the pictures, the posts, your videos, your lives, all of these pieces, your emails, your messages, and even your conversations are content. So these are just things that I've thought of, and no matter what you are talking about, if you learn this skill, it can help in all of these areas to help you grow your business organically. So we're going to jump into some tips. The first thing that's not even a tip that I want to talk about is, a lot of times in media marketing, whether that's emails or advertising or even posts, a lot of people will go for the shock factor to draw people in. And while you can do that, and it actually does work, I'm going to actually recommend that you do not go for shock factor. The reason being is, you're not just trying to get anyone interested. You're trying to get the right people interested. And if you go for shock factor, you might get some of the right people, but you're going to get a lot of the wrong people too. So not the right people for your product or your service or your business. You're just not going to attract a lot of the right people, and that can lead to some frustrating conversations. That can lead to wasted time, wasted money, even wasted effort. And that's not really what we want to go for when we're trying to build organically or even in paid advertising. So I'm going to say it's a hard no for me on shock factor. Instead, we're going to focus on some different ideas that are going to help you speak specifically to your target audience. And that is actually the first tip. Number one is, you are going to speak to your target audience, And to do that, you've got to know who they are, and not just a broad, well, everybody's my target audience. No, let's get specific. Who are they? Who are they who are you talking to? You know, get down to, are they men or women or both? Are they, age demographic? Where do they live? Sometimes you might have to be localized. You're going to start narrowing it down, but you're going to start thinking about, well, what are their interests? Where do they hang out? What content do they read? Who are they following? What TV shows are they watching? You're going to start getting detailed, and then you're going to start seeing what content is placed in front of them every single day in those places. Like, for example, if I am, trying to reach a product for stay-at-home moms, for example, and in the health and fitness industry, well, what are they doing? Who are they following on Facebook? Who are they following on Instagram? Who might they be following as guru audiences? These things. And if you look at those audiences and what advertising is being placed in front of them, you can actually get a good idea of how to start picking apart some of the other advertising. And if you, instead of looking at advertising as a nuisance, instead think of it as educational material. Can you go pick apart that ad and see why they're doing what they're doing, or what are the different pieces of it? And let's be clear on this. You are not going out to plagiarize somebody else's work. That is not what you're doing. But what you're doing is you are using it to see ideas and structure, because there are a lot of companies that invest a lot of money and put a lot of people on staff and payroll to be able to put advertising in front of people like you and me. Instead of just saying, oh, well, that advertising's annoying, use it as educational opportunities. Pick it apart, see what pieces you can do, and see how they're approaching talking to a target market. And the target market we know the most about is ourselves. So go ahead, pick those apart, and then even go out and search these other places for your demographic and the people that you're trying to reach, being very specific, and see how other people are advertising to them. So knowing your audience is huge. Okay. The second step we're going to get into in our headline and even the first line, an attention getter, attention grabber, you're trying to hook them. That's another word for it, is your hook. What is your hook? How are you going to draw them in? Now, the best way to do this is to create curiosity. You're not going to give away the meat and potatoes of everything that you're talking about, and nor can you really do that in the first line. But what you're trying to do is give them one of your best nuggets even. So as you're writing your posts and writing your ads, a tip that I was given a long time ago is to write all your content, edit it. And then one of your very last steps is take the best piece of content and put it right at the top. Now, that can be one way to do it. As you get into that, you want to make sure that you're creating this curiosity with that part of it, though. So the idea is your headline is, instead of that shock factor that we talked about, we're going to go for adding value. So with your target audience in mind, that's why that was the important first step. That second step of creating curiosity, you're going to get down into solving a problem for somebody. Can you pique their interest by telling them a problem that they have that you can solve? When you can do that, you're speaking to a very select audience instead of trying to speak to everyone. And that might mean that you're going to write different posts and different ads to reach different people. And that's absolutely okay, because when your words and your focus is very highly specific and targeted, I like to call it laser focused, then you can actually create a connection with somebody. Even in just a post, you can create that engagement and influence already just by coming out of the gate with strong content. And this is the thing, you may have amazing content, but it doesn't mean anything until people start engaging with that. If they don't make it past the first 3 seconds, because let's face it, we all have short attention spans. If they don't make it past those first few seconds, then they didn't get the best part of your content. So your job to create influence and engagement and have more conversations, because let's face it, as business owners, we want to have conversations with people because that's who we serve. But your job is to get them to keep reading to the next sentence and to the next sentence and to the next sentence, and hopefully to engage and comment back and start a conversation. That's the end goal, but everything's got to be driving forward to that. And it all starts with the hook, with the attention grabber, with the headline. So you got to get that in there. So remember, though, you want to be the trailer and not the movie. Now, a lot of times we see that the trailer gives all of the best parts and doesn't leave any of the good stuff for the movie. Well, that's not what you're doing either. You want to give good stuff to create the curiosity and then stop. And this is, I would say it's a lot simpler to do in just about everything that you get to post or create. Now, the harder thing and the skill that we all need to develop and continue to get better at is how to do that same thing when you're having a face-to-face conversation with somebody, whether that's on Zoom or in person. Remembering that you want to create that curiosity and pique their interest and then stop. You're not giving more because you're driving them to the next step. And in your content online, the next step is continuing into your content. Or if you're near the end of that piece of content, you want engagement. And even, I would say even in the middle of your content, you want engagement. So if this is making sense to you guys, go ahead, drop a comment in, #curiosity, and let's keep going. Now, I've hinted at this a little bit. The third tip here is that your attention grabbers and your headlines, you want to solve a problem, a pain, or a fear. Now, that's really important because when you are creating your content, who is the content for? Is it for you personally, or is it for your audience? Now, I've heard a quote, and this quote is pretty amazing, that when you are creating your content, if you let me I'm trying to remember. I'm going to have to paraphrase this, but if you have in your intent when you are creating a piece of content to be the best part of someone else's day, that's when you are going to start having that impact. That's when you're going to start having that influence. That's when you're going to start having more engagement, resulting in more conversations. So make sure that your intention is to show up consistently and be the best part of somebody else's day. And one of the best ways to do that is to solve a pain, problem, or fear. And when you can talk to them about how you can do that and engage them to your next step, to your next step, to your next step, that's going to generate more engagement, more influence, and more conversations. So those 3 tips right there for creating effective headlines: 1, know your audience; 2, create curiosity; and 3, solve a pain, problem, or fear. When you can do those 3 things, you're going to boost your engagement organically in your content online and even in your conversations. So let me know, guys, if this was effective for you. Do you feel like you're ready to go put a headline together, or put a new post together, or put content out there, whether that's on your personal page, a business page, videos, YouTube, whatever it ends up being? But let me know if you feel ready. And you know what? If you are ready, go ahead and drop that in the comments below. write a headline. And you know, if you don't feel like putting that content out there, shoot us a message. We would love to participate in this with you. And you know, maybe we can provide some feedback and help you get more engagement on your profile. So either way, we love to hear from you, whether that's on this video, this live video here, or whether that comes into a message to us. We will respond, and yeah, we would just love to hear that. And have a great night, everybody. We'll talk to you later.